This next question comes from Sarah, and Sarah's a paralegal at a large enterprise. They're trying to reduce costs, and one of the executives said, why are we spending money on patents? Let's just trade secret everything, right? Trade secrets are free. And let's unpack that a little bit. So a trade secret is anything that is uniquely known to your enterprise that gives you advantage over your competition. Now, it can't be in the public domain. And anything that's shipping out to a customer that can reverse engineer it really isn't appropriate for a trade secret protection. But if it's an internal process, maybe something that the factory does more efficiently, maybe it's who your suppliers are, or who your customers are, and what their contact information is. Every enterprise has trade secrets. And the executive was correct in that there's no money you have to pay with a law firm to protect those trade secrets. But you do have to do certain things. It has to be pretty clear what your trade secrets are. Some companies will actually inventory them. Here's the formula for this product. Here's the list of suppliers. And they would also then have to make their employees aware of the fact that those are secrets. So you put confidential on things or company proprietary. And if they're labeled and people know what they are, then you have the ability to get a court to enforce those trade secrets. Often when you go to work for a company, you'll sign a bunch of documents. One of them will be a confidentiality agreement or a secrecy agreement. And that can talk about the trade secrets in the program and stuff like that. So if the employees are aware of what the trade secrets are, and you remind them and you put these safeguards in place, right? You don't post it on the website or make it publicly available. It's truly kept as a secret. Trade secret protection is excellent. But the big caveat is, if it's going to end up in the hands of the public, you can't keep it secret anymore. Almost anything can be reverse engineered today. That wasn't always the case, but now every chemical compound can be found out. Any circuit, software can be decompiled. So it really is an appropriate protection in those circumstances. Now, in talking with this executive, the next thing that came up was, we'll just do defensive publications. Defensive publications are inexpensive. Not going to spend the money on the patents. We'll do defensive publication, right? And that's a fancy term, and all that it means is that instead of keeping something as a trade secret, which somebody might later patent and cause you problems, or filing a patent on it, which is expensive, we will give it to the public domain. We'll publish it, right, without filing a patent on it. So it's no longer a trade secret once you've published it. After a period of time, there's a 1-year grace period, but after a period of time, it's not appropriate for filing a patent on anymore. But what it does is it defends you from anybody else trying to file a patent on it. So you have this innovation you come up with, very low priority, not worth spending the money on to secure patent rights. You publish it so that later, if anybody else tries to get a patent on it, you have your defensive publication to say, hey, look, you cannot stop me from doing this. You may have a patent, but your patent is invalid because indeed I have published it first. So in the US, we talk about first to file system. That's generally the law around the world. But really the way to think about it is a first to publish system. As the first person to publish it has the ability to file a patent on it. In the US, you have that 1-year grace period. There isn't the grace period overseas, so often when you publish, it's gone forever. But publishing it gives you the right in the US to file within a year on that idea, and nobody else even if they file their patent first. If you've published it first, that can knock out their patent, and your subsequent patent to capture it would protect you. Or, maybe you don't file a patent on it. So I think when you're considering an innovation capture program, you always have to, everything starts off as a trade secret. Maybe that's fine. Maybe it's an internal process, and that's going to be great. There are certain things that, look, they're going to be out there. They can be reverse engineered, and maybe that's a publication is once you send it out there. But certainly, if you write up a document, you publish it. There's services that will do this for you inexpensively. It has to be somewhere where it can be found. It's indexed like a library or something like that. But there's electronic equivalents of that. You just search for defensive publications, and you'll see some examples, or ask in the comments below, and I can point you in the direction of a couple that we use. But if you're not going to file a patent on it for whatever reason, consider a defensive publication. It at least preserves your right to continue doing that, or to do it in the future without somebody else staking claim to that innovation with their own patent. So considering all three of those options, so that you're only spending the big dollars, patents are expensive, you're only spending that money on your best innovation, and the other stuff is either trade secret or given to the public domain formally in a defensive publication. So I hope that helps, and after explaining that to the executive, and he didn't really like the term of giving it to the public domain. It sounded like this free thing, this defensive publication that was really handy and inexpensive. So it wasn't that attractive as he thought about that. But nonetheless, consider all of that stuff before you commit to writing a patent, because if you call up your favorite patent attorney, they often are going to start tracking you right toward a patent. But before you do that, you should be thinking about these other options. So I hope that helps. In any event, let me know if you have any other questions, and I'll get to it in one of my future videos. Just put the questions in the comments below, or send us an email, and we'll get around to answering your question in a quick 5 to 10 minute video. So everybody stay safe, and we'll talk to you next week.